Hi, I'm Pisani, and this is how to change a tire. So depending on your type of vehicle, you're gonna need to get your spare tire off. For a lot of trucks, the spare tire is located underneath the rear, and a lot of big SUVs. A lot of smaller vehicles, you're gonna pop your trunk, lift up a lid, and your spare tire should be located there. A lot of modern vehicles don't come with spare tire, so it's always best to check and know ahead of time whether or not you have one. For this truck in particular, there's a little tiny spot. You put this rod in and you twist it, and it'll lower the spare tire from the body down to the ground. You wanna make sure you give it some extra slack, because you're gonna have to there's a little clip holding it in. So you wanna undo that and then remove the tire off. There you go. So in addition to a spare tire, you are also going to need something to get the lug nuts off your vehicle, like this. And you're also gonna need a jack to raise your vehicle up so you can actually take the tire off. Before changing your tire, the first thing you really should do is look at your owner's manual or see if your vehicle even has one. There's gonna be some specifics in that telling you whether or not you're gonna have a full-size tire, a donut. That will limit how fast you can go once you change it. And those are just good things to know beforehand. First step is you wanna make sure that your vehicle is in a safe location, flat, away from traffic if possible. I know it can be, where you get a flat tire is really not up to you, but do your best to pull over and get to a safe area before you change. You don't wanna get hit by a car. When you pull over, make sure you have your hazards on and engage your e-brake. You do not want your vehicle moving at all. So first thing you do is you wanna remove the little cover. What I like to do first is I like to loosen every lug nut just a little bit, because it's way easier to take the tire off and completely remove the lug nuts when they're already started. Because if you lift your vehicle up and then try to remove everything, the tire is probably gonna spin. It's just gonna make it way more difficult. So use the weight of the truck to keep the tire on the ground. Loosen them up just a little bit, get them started. Then you can raise your car up, loosen them up all the way, take the tire off, put your spare on, tighten them up a little bit, tighten them up all the way, lower it down, there you go. That's the quick explanation. My vehicle came with this, which is pretty nice, you know. Tire iron, removes the lug nuts. So I like to do, throw it on, get some weight behind it, and just a little bit, just to get them just a little loose. But you should know, always check before you change. You should know if your vehicle even has a tire iron. If it doesn't, I recommend going to, a tool store and picking up a longer breaker bar and maybe a set of sockets. These are things, you can just leave in your car. It's always good to have them. Not only just for your vehicle, but in case you ever need to help someone else. So when you're putting in your jack, a lot of vehicles are gonna have a designated spot. Get this started, raise it up. And you're gonna line up the little notch with that thicker piece of metal. And that's gonna, raise your car up. What comes with most cars is a scissor jack. And they're not the best. They are really only designed to lift your car up just a little bit. They don't have a wide base, so they can tip over. It's pretty easy for them to tip over, so it's always important to be really careful when doing this step and working on changing a spare tire. If you're at your house doing this, I recommend getting a normal vehicle jack. They're way more sturdy. They're not too expensive. And we're gonna pretty much raise the tire up so you're maybe like half an inch off the ground. Gives you some room to work with. All right, perfect. So we've got our tire off the ground. Our jack is in a good spot. Don't hit it, don't kick it, don't do anything to it. Leave it the way it is, but just be careful when changing the tire, because something could always happen. It's not a guaranteed safety thing, especially if you're on the side of the road. So since we gave them the initial loosen when the tire was on the ground, removing the lug nuts now is gonna be a breeze, way easier than it would have been trying to do this, getting it started to begin with. So we got this. Now they're all pretty loose. You can kind of just come, hand loosen them. I recommend a little container just to throw them in so you don't accidentally lose one. And when you get to the last one, you're just gonna wanna hold the tire, keep it from falling off, maybe hurting your fingers or crushing anything. All right, perfect. Now that we got it off, the tire will slide right off. If it was flat or, broken, just get it out of the way. You can rest it against the back, let it sit on the ground, doesn't really matter. Put it where you have your other spare tire. Nice. Now that we got our spare, it's time to do the exact opposite of everything that we've done. But while the tire is off, it's always a good idea just to take a quick peek and see, if you had a blowout flat tire and you were riding on the rim or something, you just want to make sure everything else looks all right, because you don't want to put the tire back on and realize that everything else is broken and you still can't drive your vehicle. So what's nice about a lot of vehicles, you got your bolts, you got your holes. A spare is usually pretty light, so you just want to line it up and make sure it's pressed firmly on, and they can hold it. And then what I like to do is just take one for now and just kind of get it on there so you have something holding the tire on. Doesn't have to be crazy, just a little bit. And now we can start putting these lug nuts back on and tightening the tire up. For the initial put on, it doesn't matter what order you do. It's for when you are tightening up the tire. You want to go to whatever the owner's manual says, whatever spec it says. So once you have all your lug nuts on, just hand tighten, just kind of on there. You can come and really give them a fully tighten them. What I've always done for my tires is I start with one, and then I go in a star pattern, going from here to here, up, down, over. So you have an even tighten amongst the whole tire. And then once that's done, I go over and just hit them all with one more little half turn, see if I can go any tighter. When you're doing it with hand and you don't have a torque wrench, it's hard to know exactly what you're torquing it to. Your owner's manual will tell you how tight to tighten the lug nuts, but when you're on the side of the road and you only have this, it doesn't really matter. Just get them pretty hand tightened with this. You should go until this becomes difficult to move. You don't want to over tighten them though. So I'd say until you're putting your body weight on and then gets a little pretty good resistance. I can obviously push a tiny bit more, but there's no reason to over tighten them. For most automobiles, usually the manual states you should torque them to be usually around between 60 to 80 foot-pounds on each lug nut. And then for bigger vehicles like trucks, bigger SUVs, probably around 80 to 100. And what I like to do is go around one more time and just make sure they're all fairly snug. You don't want this coming off while you're driving and cause another accident. So now that we've got spare tire on, everything's tightened up. You could put that on if you want. I usually just keep it in the bed. We're gonna come over and we're gonna slowly lower the jack. When lowering it there, just gonna go slow. There we go. Remove the jack, lower it fully so you can put it back where you got it. For a little kick, make sure it's good. Things to go over that are really important to make sure that you have, honestly, even before this, before any of the steps, making sure you know what kind of spare you have, if you have a spare tire. If you have a donut versus a full-size spare, everything is up to order. So like this spare in particular, it's not a full-size spare, but it has air in it. So you would want to make sure, every, say, 6 months to a year, check the tire pressure, check the air pressure of this tire to make sure that when you do need it, it's not flat. And now you're stuck on the side of the road with a flat spare tire and no real tire. If you have a full-size spare, you're good. You take the tire off, put your full-size spare on, you're good to drive on it for a while. Donuts and not full-size spares, you really want to limit how much you're driving on them, and you also want to limit how fast you're going. A lot of times for donuts, it'll say on the side of the tire the maximum speed you should be driving on, and it'll tell you how far you can drive on it. I think for a lot of donuts, it's usually about 50 miles an hour and pretty much, I think 50 miles or so. You know, you're really just putting that on to get to a tire shop or to get to an area where you can replace it professionally. Other things to have in your vehicle, just in case of a flat tire or any really roadside emergency, would be a little roadside emergency kit. And that will have a little reflective triangle to set up behind the vehicle to let other vehicles know, in addition to your hazards, that something's wrong. Usually it has a pair of gloves, jumper cables, a couple fuses, and you really just can keep that where you keep the spare tire. I also personally like to keep a little cigarette plug-in tire pump, tire inflator. So, you know, I got one for Harbor Freight. It was like 14 bucks. I just keep it in the vehicle. Now, speaking of tire inflators, check out our other video on tire inflators. Turns out they're all really good. And yeah, it's better to have a tire inflator than none. All right, and that's how to change a tire. Go check out our other safety videos, how-to videos on our YouTube page. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe. And I'll see you later.